You know, from ancient prophets to our modern superheroes, there's this one image that always seems to pop up to signal divinity or greatness, the white robe. But have you ever stopped to wonder why? Today we're going to unpack a really fascinating and very specific theory from our source material that traces this powerful symbol back to a pretty surprising origin. So let's just think about this for a second. Angels, gods, ascended masters. Why is it always the white robes? It's an image that's so deeply woven into the fabric of our culture that we almost never stop to ask, where did this even come from? Well, the source material we're digging into today, it offers a very direct and maybe unexpected answer.
And you see this symbol everywhere, but it's especially prominent when you look at biblical descriptions of divine beings. The explanation we're exploring today, though, it tries to trace this all back to a single specific starting point.
All right, let's get right to the heart of this theory. According to our source, the story of the white robes doesn't actually start where you might think. It supposedly begins with a group known as the Anunnaki.
Now, and this is super important, this is all strictly according to the text we're examining today. It puts forward this idea that the Anunnaki were the ones who first set up this symbolic connection. So for them, white clothing wasn't just a color choice, it was a powerful symbol of greatness, of total purity, and really the absolute peak of evolutionary achievement.
The whole concept here is that the white garment is more than just cloth. It's a metaphor for an entire journey. It represents this ultimate triumph of rising up from the darkness of a lower state of being into the light of perfection. It's basically a visual signal that you've arrived.
Okay, but here's where this theory takes a really interesting turn. The source claims this ancient symbol isn't just stuck in old texts. The argument is that we're actually seeing it played out, maybe without even realizing it, in some of our biggest modern stories.
Yeah, the source makes a pretty bold claim, and I'm just going to read this directly from the text. Hollywood has been used to give you educational glimpses of what the Illuminati know as a way of subconsciously preparing you. So the argument they're making is that these stories are way more than just entertainment. They're a kind of hidden education.
And this slide really tries to hammer that point home. The source draws this direct parallel between the story of Superman, or Kal-El, and Christ, who it refers to as Rael. I mean, look at the comparisons it presents. Both are sent from a dying planet, both are sent by their fathers, and this is the big one. Both fathers debate a council that's dressed in glowing white robes. And to top it off, both end up being raised on Earth by a farmer and his wife. So, after laying out that modern parallel, the source then pivots back to try and anchor its whole theory in Scripture. Let's take a look at the specific biblical verses it points to as evidence.
First up, from the Gospel of Mark, this is describing the transfiguration of Jesus. And notice the wording. It's not just white, it's dazzling white, something that's whiter than anyone on earth could possibly make it. The text is really suggesting a divine, otherworldly quality here.
Then you've got this incredible vision from the book of Revelation. We're not just talking about one person here, but many multitudes, countless people from all over the world. And what unites them? They're all standing before the divine throne in white garments, which signifies their redeemed or righteous status.
And here, in the Gospel of Matthew, we have the description of an angel at Jesus' tomb. Again, you see the text connecting this divine being with brilliant light, like lightning, and clothes that are white as snow, which is, a classic symbol of purity.
And finally, this verse from the Psalms. This might be the most direct connection in the source's entire argument. It explicitly says that God wears light itself as if it were a piece of clothing. So we've moved beyond just white fabric. This is the very essence of light being worn like a robe.
So let's recap. We've got the origin theory with the Anunnaki. We have the modern echo in Hollywood, and we've got the scriptural foundation. Now let's see how the source ties all of these different threads together into one single unified theory.
Okay, so the argument presented in the text basically flows like this. First, the Anunnaki established the white robe as a symbol of greatness. Second, this very same symbolism gets recorded and preserved in foundational religious texts, like the Bible. And third, that exact same core narrative continues to be told today through these really powerful modern allegories, like the story of Superman.
So, the most important takeaway here is this. According to the source we've been looking at, the white robes on a biblical angel and the white robes on the Kryptonian Council in a Superman movie, that's not a coincidence. They are supposedly part of a single ancient symbolic thread that connects them all across thousands of years.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought.
If a symbol as common as white robes could have such a specific hidden origin story, according to this text, well, what other symbols that we see every single day might be carrying deep meanings we've never even considered? It really makes you wonder, doesn't it?